Hello and welcome to another episode of the Transformations with Jane podcast. I'm Jane Nakata, your host and a coach for women here in Sweden. Well, we are very, very much into autumn here, and it's also feeling very much like winter, even though it's only the middle of October here in Gothenburg, Sweden. And this morning it was a crisp and sunny 4 degrees when I went out at 9 a.m. So that is, yeah, it was feeling very much like we are getting into winter here, and we are having daylight savings finishing or starting. I think it's finishing, right? At the end of this month. It is going to be very dark very early. So when we get up in the morning here, it's dark at about just before 7. It's still dark, and it's going to be dark quite early from in about 2 weeks' time. So yeah, counting down to that, because it kind of means that not that the darkness is here, but yeah, it is sort of a bit of a shift, yeah. And it's quite a dramatic shift of the darkness coming 1 hour earlier than it has been. So something to be aware of, especially for us people who are not used to this, is that we're going to be coming home in the dark now from our activities and things that have been in the daylight until now. So we need to be careful to make sure that people can actually see us when we're walking down the road or crossing the street. So I have been on a mission to find all of the reflector things that we have in our house, so that the kids and I are lit up as as we walk down the road. Yeah, there's lots of those sort of things for sale here in Sweden that I've never seen in Japan, and lots of those sort of slap bandy things that you put on that reflect, or little things you can attach to your bag or your jacket, little lights that you can switch on and off that attach to your jacket or your bag. Lots of really cute things as well. So it's kind of fun to have those things on your bag. And a lot of the kids' clothing here actually also has those reflector strips on them, especially the wet weather or the winter snow gear tends to have those things already on them, which is really, really great, really appreciated. So yeah, we're still very much learning how we deal with the winter here, as only our second time round. But yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, so today I would like to talk to you about success at insert your age here. So, um, I just had a birthday recently, so just starting another trip around the sun. I've entered my 41st year, or is it the 42nd year? I'm not sure, but it was my 41st birthday. So, yeah, into the 40s now. So, actually, it was interesting that my daughter said to me, I don't want you to be 41. Can you go back to being 40? Because I think she liked the sound of that better than 41. And I said, well, if I go back to being 40, then you have to go back to being 8. And I don't think you want to do that, do you? And she said, yeah, no, I don't want to go back to being 8, because she's 9, ready to be like 19, very sort of grown up, and wants to grow up already. So yeah, that was interesting. But I thought, no, I don't want to go back to being 40. And if I think back to, younger ages, like when I was like 21 or 31, I definitely don't want to go back to those ages either. I'm very happy with where I am now as a 41-year-old, I think. And yeah, just the not the maturity, but also just like life experience, and knowing that things can work out, being so much more calm about stuff, knowing that I can work through whatever is going to come across my path. Somehow I'll get through it. That comes with age, right? You can't really know that when you're 21 or 31 or a lot younger. So that's something I'm enjoying about being 41. And anyone who's older than 41 will be like, 41, haha, so young. But yeah, that's how I feel now. So I decided to give myself a chance for a fresh start. So fresh starts can happen anytime you want, actually. Like, there are opportunities for fresh starts every morning when you wake up. On Mondays at the start of the month, the start of the year, but why wait for the next 1st of January to give yourself a fresh start? So, when we try to do things we want to do, like whether it's improving ourselves in some way, starting something new, it can be tricky to get that to become a habit. But if you fall off, as we say, fall off the wagon or stop doing it, that you can give yourself a fresh start. And the sooner you do that, the better, right? The sooner you're going to be back on track or closer to where you want yourself to be. But for my 41st birthday, I decided to give myself quite a major fresh start. So why not, use the birthday as a really good fresh start? Because when I stopped and looked at my most successful period of my life up until now, when I was seeing the most progress, so that's what I mean by successful, that period of my life when I was seeing the most progress was when I was doing certain things. And so I decided to have just sort of think back to that time and then look at what I'm doing now. And I realized that actually there's quite a few things I'm not doing that I used to do when I was making a lot of progress in my life. So I thought, a birthday is a great chance to do that sort of review. And so what were some of the things that I was doing back then? Well, let's see, I've got a list here. Number one, I was planning my week out carefully. And by this, I mean that I was making a note of when I would do the things that really mattered to me, like exercising or, whatever it was, that I was working on. And when I did that, things happened more easily because I had made time for those things on my schedule. And I'd made them a priority by putting them on my schedule. So planning my week out carefully. And I used to spend quite a lot of time doing this. And I actually made it really fun for myself because I love stationery. I know lots of people do. Having a really nice planner, really nice set of highlighters. And I used to give myself time to sit down and just really color things in and color code everything. And that was really fun for me, but it also really helped me to see, okay, you actually have more time than you thought, or, oh, you've actually got too much stuff on your plate. Why are you doing all of this? That sort of thing. So planning my week out carefully, like actually sitting down, giving myself half an hour to do this as a treat. It wasn't like, oh, I have to plan my week out. It was a treat. And I like this sort of thing. Some people will probably be like running from the room screaming, say, I don't want to do that. But if that's you and that helps you, then go for it. So that was one thing I was doing. Another thing I was doing was, of course, exercising in some way. And that was every day, not just, twice a week or 3 times a week. It was every day I was exercising. Some days was harder than others, but I was being active and exercising every day. And that was obviously carefully planned on my schedule, because I made it a priority. Number 3 was not drinking alcohol, And for me, because drinking alcohol means that I don't feel like exercising the next day. It also means that I'll probably, if I've had 1 or 2 glasses of wine, I'll probably eat more than I wanted to and regret that later. I won't sleep properly. That's another thing. I will wake up in the middle of the night probably and I won't have a proper night's sleep, which will impact how I feel the next day, all that sort of thing. And something's beeping. I don't know what that is. Anyway, let's continue. Number 4. Another thing that made me very successful was getting up early and doing important things first. And this will only work for you if you are a morning person, which I am. So perhaps if you're a night person, it might be staying up later and doing important things when you have your energy burst, which is potentially later in the day. For me, my energy burst is first thing in the morning. I'm very good. I can get up and go and exercise. I can, write, I can do whatever I want to do, but try and do that at 3 or 4 o'clock, and I'm not. No, that's the time for me to do those sort of mundane things that have to be done, like cooking dinner or something that, doesn't really matter how it's done. Yeah, it just has to be done. It could be some kind of cleaning or, something like that. So getting up early, like I used to get up at 5:30, I think it was, to get things done. And that was because that was the only time I had for myself when my children were very small. And I did it, and it worked for me. But of course, I went to bed early, but when you've got small kids, they go to bed early too. So yeah, why stay up and stay up late? Get up earlier and use your early morning energy if that's what you have. So I find that tricky now because my kids don't get up, because I don't need to get up. My kids go to school and I have daytime when they're not here, but it's easy for that time to get taken up with other things, like someone will invite you to go out and have coffee, or in my case, because I work flexibly from home, I can go out for coffee if someone invites me, that sort of thing. So let me just deal with this bloopy thing. What is blooping here? Let me just pause for a moment. Okay, hopefully I have dealt with the the notifications popping up there. Sorry about that. But here at the Transformations with Jane podcast, we just keep going and we just work with imperfect action. Anyway, as I was talking about getting up early and doing important things first. So if you get them done first, then it doesn't matter what else happens in the day. Someone invites you to coffee, you can go because you've already done your exercise, or you've already written your chapter of your book, whatever it is that you're working on. You've already decluttered your closet if that's what you're working on. And you can just enjoy yourself because important things are already done. Another thing that used to really work for me was working on projects in short bursts. So I've talked about this before if you might be a sprinter or a marathoner, but for me, working on a project in short bursts means that I am more likely to get it finished. And so just, a little bit each day really works well for me. And leaving the project in a place where I can pick it up easily the next day. So if I'm writing something, I will leave the last sentence will be the start of the next paragraph, which is very easy to see what I should write next about. I can just pick it up and I can just go with it. So if that's something that works for you, leaving a project or whatever it is that you're doing in a place where you can pick it up easily the next day can be really useful. Because otherwise we might not start things. If we don't think, well, I can't finish it today or whatever. But, getting 10 minutes done here, 10 minutes done there, it will get you there in the end. If you do not have those large chunks of time. And sometimes the thought of spending 3 hours on a project doesn't make us want to start, right? But 10 minutes, I can do that. And that's 10 minutes that's done, rather than 3 hours that's what got used doing something else, like watching Netflix or shopping or something. Avoiding. Okay, and last on my list was actively putting myself first more than before. So it's really easy to, I wonder if you can hear this girl screaming. I've got two 9-year-olds playing here today. Actively putting myself first more means that all of the other things for other people, they will get done, right? Like the kids, whatever needs doing, or, dinner needs cooking, the washing needs to be put in the dryer, all that will get done. You don't need to worry about that because it has to be done. And other people are waiting for their dinner or waiting for their whatever. But actively putting yourself first means that you will also get to do your things as well as those other things that need to be done. And it can be a real mind shift that you have to make at first to start doing that. But the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And then you will see, actually, I do have enough time for all these things. There's always enough time to do the things that are important to you. So it's a very big takeaway from today. There is always enough time to do the things that are important to you. And, yeah, so let's just run through those quickly again. Number 1, planning my week out carefully. Number 2, exercising in some way every day. Number 3, not drinking alcohol. Yeah. Number 4, getting up early and doing important things first. Number 5, working on projects in short bursts and leaving them in a place where you can pick them up easily when you come back to them. Number 6, actively putting myself first more than before. Okay. So, how does it happen that I went from, doing these things and being really successful, and as in seeing progress and seeing lots of progress and being really pleased with that progress, to not doing those things? Well, it's all about your habits. Yeah, what habits you have, because those will lead you to. That's the habits that create the actions which helps you to see the progress or the results. So even though you think you have these habits down, then it does, things happen. Life happens, life changes, your life situation changes. Your kids, for example, get older, don't need you anymore, you have more time suddenly, or things happen. So it's really good to just stop and take a look and say, oh well, maybe I'm not doing the things I thought I was doing. Yeah. Well, just because I had that down pat last year doesn't mean that this year I will have them as well. So what I would like you to remember, though, is that if you're wanting to see progress or results, we cannot focus on the progress or the results. We must focus on our actions. Yeah. So take your attention off your goal and put it on what you're doing now. Okay. Because quite often when we're looking at the goal, whatever that might be, a perfectly clean kitchen, or a website that's set up and my business is in operation, or I've lost 10 kilos, whatever it is. Yeah, if you're focusing on that, the difference between where you are now and that goal will quite often stop you from doing anything. So the important thing is to bring your attention back to the things that will lead you to the goal. So that might be, if it's you want to lose weight, it's exercising, it's eating vegetables or more vegetables. Yeah, it's drinking more water, or whatever it is. If it's building your business, it's creating my homepage, creating the about page. It's setting up a payment system. It's getting my first customer. That's those are the actions that we need to get us at the goal. So one way that we can help to keep doing this is to show yourself your progress as you go, rather than I'll achieve this goal, check, because it could be quite far off actually, that that you reach whatever this goal is. So showing your progress on a daily basis, yeah, is the way to help yourself stay on track and to keep moving forward. So one thing I'm doing is, and I've done this before and it's been very effective for me, but some of you might be like, no, I don't want to do that. That's fine. But, making your progress visible. How could you make your progress, your actions visible, and show yourself what you've achieved so far? So I have just over here out of the sight is my fridge, which is covered in all sorts of things. But one thing that it has on there is a calendar. It's a family calendar that everyone can see. And every day that I have done what I would consider to be reasonable exercise, and that's just not incidental exercise, I've actually gone out and, walked for 5 kilometers, that sort of thing, whatever it is, then I make this big pink smiley face on the calendar for that day. And it's very obvious to me and the whole family, which is kind of the accountability as well for me, that they can see that, oh, I'm actually doing it. So, I've got, like 6 out of 7 days with a big pink smiley face on it. And I can see, oh, okay, I didn't do it on Saturday, which was a day when I just really didn't have it as one of my priorities. I didn't think about it. I didn't prepare the night before, and the day went by and I didn't do the exercise. So it's very easy to spot which days you're perhaps not doing it, and to see how well you are doing when you do get that row of smiley faces or ticks or whatever it is that you do. So that's one way that I've made that to be a priority again. Okay. So some things that will help you to make it a priority. So the first thing is to choose it. Yeah. Make it a choice. So, you don't have to exercise at all. You're choosing to exercise. So if you're very careful about how you talk to yourself about whatever it is you're doing, I'm using the example of exercise. It could be, for example, writing. If you're trying to write a book, who isn't, lots of people are trying to write a book, sitting down to write as part of that book. Yeah. You are choosing to write. Yeah. Maybe you really would like to have a less cluttered house. You're choosing to declutter your house. You don't have to. Nobody's going to make you. So when it's a choice, it comes much more easily. And I want you to think about the words you're using with yourself about that. That will definitely help. So I'm choosing to get up at 6 a.m. and go to the gym, if that's what it is. Yeah. Or I'm choosing to write straight after breakfast, even before I bother cleaning up the kitchen, or whatever you need to do to get it done. So number 2, put it in early in the day. So, even if you are a nighttime person, I would encourage you to put it earlier in the day, because the later the day, the longer the day goes on, the more chance there is for other things to get in the way. And if you can't put it early in the day, then put it at the start of your working time, or the start of your free time, or at the start. That's the first thing you do, and then you do other things. So that shows to you that this is a priority for you. So, and the third thing is set up your area so that you are ready to go when it's time to do what you want to do. So if it's exercise, then that area where you do your yoga, or your your weight training, or whatever it is ready to go. You don't have to get it out. Or maybe it's just a matter of putting on your exercise gear and leaving it on until you've finished doing your exercise. If you're writing, your writing space is waiting for you. All you have to do is sit down, turn on your computer, and go. And there's nothing else that you're doing until you've done the time that you allot for yourself, or the words you allot for yourself, or the minutes of planking, whatever it is that you're doing. Yeah. So there's no other escapes until you've actually sat through the time that you're supposed to be doing it. Yeah. Or done what you're supposed to be doing. And that way you can just avoid all of those pitfalls that we have, those loopholes that we have. Oh, I couldn't find my running shoes, so I couldn't go for a walk. Or, oh, my computer's charger cable was missing, so I couldn't use my computer. That sort of thing. It's so easy to fall off doing, and avoid doing things, or just not do things that we actually want to do. Yeah, so those are some of the things that I've been working on myself. I'm trying to walk my talk. That's different. I'm just not just preaching here. So I'm always sort of looking in to see if I've stopped doing things that have made me successful. And my 41st birthday was definitely a chance to do that, and to notice, there's lots of things that need a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of work here. And, that comes from moving to a new country, moving to a new apartment. The gym I used to walk 200 meters to is now 600 meters away. So I've noticed that stops me going there, because I actually need to factor in more time to get there and get home again, and all these sorts of things. Even in the middle of winter, I could get up and just sort of lean forward and walk down the hill towards the gym at 6:30 in the morning. That wasn't a problem. But now that it's much further away, it's not happening. So it's really interesting how little things affect how the actions that we take. And the more we can remove roadblocks by planning or being prepared, making it priority in those different ways, can really help us to get things done. So I'd love it if you would let me know what are some of the things that have made you successful in the past that perhaps you weren't doing, but you're going to start doing again. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, and as I said, this episode is called Success at Insert Your Age Here. So it's never too late. Like, I don't want to hear, oh, but I'm this age and I can't start doing things. That's not true. Yeah, you can start doing anything anytime. It's never too late. And I might sound a bit silly if I'm only 41 and saying this, but yeah, it's definitely not too late. So just get out there and do it. Yeah, you can become anything at any age. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. So you can catch me over at Transformations with Jane on Instagram, or you can email me at jane@janenakata.com. I'd love to hear from any listeners out there, and yeah, just hear what your takeaways are from this episode. So I will see you in another 2 weeks. Thanks so much for listening and watching if you're watching this on YouTube. And yeah, see you again soon. Bye-bye.